and welcome back, or welcome to my channel Klassykooo. If you don't know, I am Kayla. So as you can probably tell from the title of this video, I will be doing a part 2 to the part 1 of the truth behind my son's father's murder. If you did not get a chance to watch part 1, I would highly advise you go and check that video out first, because if you watch this one first, you'll probably just be a little confused on what I'm addressing. If you would like to go check that video out, I will put the link in the description box down below, so go ahead and check that video out first and then come right back and check this video out. So firstly, I would like to address a few things. I would like to start off by saying thank you so much to all of the people who have reached out through the comments, through DMs, through Snapchat, and really just poured their love into my son and myself. I really appreciate all of the support and positive comments. It really means a lot to me. This story was not something, it's never something that's easy for me to talk about, but it needs to be talked about for awareness purposes. So yeah, I just really from the bottom of my heart appreciate every positive comment, every positive message, DM. I really do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Also, I just want this to be like a disclaimer. This is not me explaining myself. I did leave some things out in the last video, and I did say that I wasn't going to address all the teeny tiny little details, which people tended to point out anyways. So I want it to be very known that this is not me explaining myself, because again, I don't care what people think. This is just me addressing specific questions, because I feel like those questions are very reasonable questions, and I did leave, like I mentioned, I did leave some things out, so I feel like they're appropriate, and I have no problem with addressing the things that I will be addressing today. One more thing before we go ahead and get started here, I also wanted to express how I shared this video to spread awareness on the importance of gun safety and the effects that gun violence can have on families and friends and community members. So that is like my #1 reason for why I shared our story. I do have a lot of other reasons, but that is one of the main ones. I also wanted to spread awareness on Adriels specifically, because his case is still a cold case. He was killed in 2020 and it's now 2024. His case is still unsolved. So that's another reason why I wanted to get his story out there. And what else? I have my notes written down here, you guys, so excuse me if I keep looking down. I also told the story because a lot of people, specifically family and friends and people in our specific community in Seattle, they don't have the full story. And as I mentioned, I didn't put all the little details because I don't feel like that's anybody's business, those teeny tiny little details. And I didn't post pictures of like his autopsy photos and stuff like that. Those are more personal things, but I did want to tell the story how it happened, because again, family, friends, people in our community have been spreading rumors and lies for so long. They think they know what happened, or they're going based off of someone else's thoughts or opinions on what happened, and really you guys don't have the proof to back up your rumors, theories, opinions, and all around just lies. So that's why I decided to speak up. Yes, I have done other things such as write a book and whatnot, but again, even in my book, I didn't write those little personal details that people think that they know. Just for an example, people were spreading rumors that he was shot 13 times, and then that changed to 11 times. But all in all, in reality, he was shot 8 times. And I know that because I have the investigative report. I have the autopsy reports. I've talked to the detective that was assigned to his case. I have all of that. So people that have been spreading rumors, they don't have any of that. They can't even get their hands on that. So that is also why I wanted to tell this story, because I wanted to tell it how it happened. Also, as I mentioned in the last video, even police, when the police that arrived on scene when it first happened, were trying to automatically assume that it was like gang related, which again could be far from that's the farthest thing from the truth. And so that's just another reason why I wanted to go ahead and tell this story, because people that think they know what happened, they really don't. Things that you thought you've heard that may be true, they're not. So I definitely wanted to go ahead and just tell the story how it happened and give y'all the facts. And again, I'm not going into little teeny tiny details because it's not really your guys' business, but I believe that because it was a public it was like a public situation, it was all over the news and stuff, people do deserve to hear the very broad version of what happened. So that's why I made the video part 1, giving you guys like the overall summary of what happened. I'm not going into all the teeny tiny little paragraphs and details of what happened. So I do apologize if I keep looking down. If you guys watched any of my previous videos, even besides part 1, y'all know that I have to write my stuff down because I will get so off topic and just keep rambling. And I really don't want this video to be too long because I know part 1 is on the longer side. It's 44 minutes and I usually try to keep my videos pretty short, like under 20 minutes. So let's hop right into it. First thing that I want to address on here is that Adriel and I were only together for a few months before I got pregnant. A lot of people were trying to come for me about that for some reason, and I don't really understand that, because there's people who I know who have had one-night stands and have got pregnant, and they are perfectly fine when it comes to co-parenting and stuff like that. So I don't really know, and I really didn't expect for people to like point that out specifically, because again, I shared this story to spread awareness on gun violence. So I don't know how us only being together for a few months really affects you guys or has anything like to do with gun violence per se. So I just wanted to point that out, that I know we were only together for a couple months, and you guys only know that because I decided to share that. So I don't have anything, I don't have anything to hide or to lie about. So when I'm telling our story, I'm telling it true, doing it real and raw and authentic, and that's just what happened. That's a part of it, us being only together for a couple of months before I found out I was pregnant. Also, I would like to add in there, I was only 17 at the time, so I was pretty naive and I was just coming out of a really rough situation. So that doesn't give any excuse, but I was still young, I was dumb, I was naive, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us here have been dumb teenagers at one point or another. My dumbness just happened to lead me to fall pregnant. So I don't really care that people are mentioning like, oh, you guys were only together for a couple of months and then got pregnant, you shouldn't be sad about this. But we were friends before anything. So, and that's the father of my child. Like, I have to raise our child without him. So I absolutely get to feel the way that I feel and get to grieve and all of that stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out there. I don't really know why that was relevant to a lot of people. Also, something that I almost forgot to mention is that yes, me and Adriel were together for a couple months, which I just mentioned, but I also want to address that when you are with someone every single day for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, y'all know if you have been in a relationship that can feel like a year, 2 years. Especially, it depends on those conversations that you guys are having, especially if you're going into like deep conversation almost every time you see each other. Yeah, so my couple of months with Adriel might not seem like a lot, or like, oh, you know, you got pregnant by someone that you barely knew, but I feel like I knew him very well. And if y'all have been in a relationship, you know those first 3, 4 months feel like a long ass time. Also, again, I was 17 when I got pregnant. Now, if I were in the dating world, because I am married now, if I was still in the dating world, I'm not getting pregnant by someone after 3 months. I have lived and learned, and I have grown so much since I was 17. I'm 21 now, gonna be 22 in a couple months. So I have definitely grown, so I'm not gonna let people hold that against me. I love my son, and he is the biggest blessing in my life. Number 2 is that phone call that Adriel and I had in March of 2020, which was the last time I spoke to him. And the first time that I told him I was pregnant. I was 3 months along at that point. That phone call, I also didn't get like in depth with that phone call either, but I know some people are saying like, oh, he didn't even want nothing to do with your baby, like why would you, you know, go so hard for him and all the things that you're doing. But it was never that. He just wanted to know for sure that our son was his. And he actually, one of the last things he told me was, if the baby is mine, I will step up, I will be a father, and I will be in my baby's life. So you guys really don't know what you're talking about, and you only know as much as I tell you, or like what you see on the news. So I just wanted to lay that out too, because people were asking me about that. So number 3, y'all, I'm so sorry about the glare. Hopefully it doesn't bother you too much. But number 3 is that his mom, which I mentioned in part 1, was not able to see her son, was not able to identify his body at the hospital when they took him to the morgue in the hospital. So yeah, she was basically called there for nothing, because she wasn't even able to identify her own child's body. They identified him through his dental records, because at the time that he was killed, he still did have his braces on, so they were able to identify him that way. So yeah, his mom went to the hospital for no reason, and the next time that she ever saw her son was at his funeral. So I just wanted to address that as well, because I think people were a little confused on that part. Like, they called her to the hospital for nothing. Yeah, they called her to the hospital for no reason, basically. Another thing, and I felt like I addressed this pretty clearly, I even put pictures in there, but I had some people asking me if I was pregnant or if my son was born when he died, and I'm pretty sure I made that very clear, but I'll just go ahead and answer it anyways. I was 6 months, almost 7 months pregnant when Adriel died. So to answer the question, no, they never got to meet. My son was born, so Adriel died July 20th of 2020, and my son was born October 1st of 2020. So okay, so number 5, I was reading comments on my last video, part 1, and y'all, there's a lot of ignorant people in my comment section, okay? So, and I have no problem with explaining. I had no problem with responding to these certain people with their ignorant questions, but I'll address it here. So some people are like, oh, you're just the baby mom, how were you able to sue? I acted on behalf of my son. So therefore, because my son is still a minor, he can't go ahead and sue nobody for his dad's, you know, case. So I was able to get in touch with some amazing lawyers, and his mom, first of all, didn't want anything to do with the suing part. She's still grieving. She doesn't even half the time want to hear her son's name come up out of anybody's mouth. So that can be understandable. That was her only child. So I took it upon myself to reach out to the lawyers, and I was like, hey, or they reached out to me, they reached out to me, and they were like, would you be willing to basically be the representative in this case? And I said, of course. Like, it wasn't even a question. I did it without the blink of an eye. I just did it. And so I acted again on behalf of my toddler, and I was able to sue the gas station. I was the one that was handling all the phone calls with the lawyers. We're on the phone twice a week, 2 hours each time for like a whole year. I'm the one signing all these documents. I'm the one going out into these streets and figuring out what happened and who was there and just everything about his case. And I was the one that found the witness that was able to talk to the lawyer, and that witness was vital in our case to be able to say, like, they had to pinpoint and make sure like it was this gas station. And yes, there was like news articles and facts and investigation reports, but the witness was vital. Long story short, I'm the one that found him. I'm the one that talked to him and convinced him to please talk to the lawyer. So yeah, I did all of that, and I was able to do that because my son is Adriel's only child. And again, I acted on behalf of my son, and my son is the only beneficiary in this case. So yeah, people are like, oh, you know, in the comments, people are like, oh, you're not gonna see a lick of that money. I don't care about the money, honey. I don't care. I'm good. I have a career. Money is not a problem in my life. My son doesn't have a biological father, so that is what I'm worried about. And my son deserves to have a future where he does not have to stress about money or stress about how am I going to get to college. And even though I'm straight and I have the financial means to take care of my son, in the future he's going to want his own money as an adult. And so he will have, thank you to me suing this gas station and winning, he will have the financial freedom that he deserves as a young black man in this society, so that he doesn't have to turn to the streets. He doesn't have to do none of that. He could be a nerd and go to college, and boom, if he wants to, he can buy a house with this money. If he wants to, he can move out of the country with this money. If he wants, he can start a business straight out of high school. Like, there's endless opportunities for my son now. So all y'all with your little slick comments, oh, the legal system is so messed up because I'm his baby mom and I was able to sue the gas station, like, y'all sound so ignorant. Because that's like saying, if I get sick at a restaurant and die, my best friend can't sue and, you know, my family be the beneficiary, you know, something like that. Like, y'all just sound so ignorant. Anybody can sue anybody. So y'all just sound so slow. And his mom was well aware of the whole situation. Yes, she didn't want her hand in the pot because it is very time consuming having to, like I said, talk to lawyers twice a week, 2 hours each time, and figuring out paperwork and just figuring out a whole lot of stuff. It is very time consuming, and she's still grieving, so that's why she didn't want any part of it. So I could care less what y'all are saying, but I thought that those comments were quite funny and very ignorant because you guys don't even know what you're talking about. Also, I was able to sue the gas station simply for neglect. I'm not gonna get all deep into it, but it was basically neglect on the gas station owner's behalf. For example, I'll just put one example in there. He had a whole bunch of cameras on the property that of course were not working, right? Because that's how it always is. The cameras were never working. So the cameras hadn't even been working for quite a while, and it didn't seem like the owner had anything put into place to where he was going to fix this issue anytime soon. And if those cameras would have been working, we probably wouldn't even be sitting, I wouldn't even be sitting here right now. The case probably would have been resolved and arrests would have been made. So the simple fact that you're misleading the community into thinking that they are safe on your property, on your establishment, is neglect on your behalf. So that is one reason, just one reason, why I was able to sue. Number 6, and I know I mentioned this in my last video, but I will go over it again, is the things that I have done in honor of Adriels' name. Again, I've hosted balloon releases every year on his birthday. I've gone on the news to spread his story. I've wrote a book. I go to city council meetings that focus specifically on gun violence in the city of Seattle. I've met with the mayor of Seattle on behalf of Adriel. I've been in rooms with young Dolph's wife as well as Pop Smoke's mom to discuss the damage gun violence can leave. We called it the ripple effect, and how we can put tools in place for our children to not fall down that same path, whether they be the predator or the victim, you know. So I have also attended city events where the whole city will gather. This last time we went to a church, and it was all kinds of different walks of people. It was their cousin that was murdered. It was their brother that was murdered, their sister, their mom, their dad, their partner, their husband, a sibling, a grandchild, a grandmother. Like, all walks of life came to this event this past year that I went to, and we were able to submit photos of our loved ones so that they could be played in what is it called, like a slideshow, and it was really beautiful. It was just everyone from the city who has lost someone to gun violence gathered in this one place, and we honored and respected our loved ones and just had like a big celebration for them. So I'll post a video of that. It was just really beautiful. So yeah, I've done a lot of things in memory of Adriel and to keep his name alive and show my son that his dad was somebody significant in the community, and to his friends and his family. So yeah, I've also got like DMs of people saying I was just doing this for clout. Sweetheart, hunty, I don't need the clout from this, I promise you. If you want to call it clout, I've gotten enough of it, bad and good, from my own city, from my own, not my own, but like Adriel's friends and family. I have gotten the good and the bad. I would not feel the need to come on social media and seek that same attention that I've literally got like in real life. Again, I just spread this story because I want his name to ripple out there, like the ripple effect. I want his name to just reach every corner of the world, because this is still an unsolved case. So I don't need to post videos to get clout. I've been dealing with this for almost 4 years. Like, this is my real life. I'm the only one who takes care of my son Adriel's family. Most of them, I'm gonna say, not all of them, most of them do not help with my son. So I could care less again of like what people have to say, but it's something that I need to address because for so long I just never spoke up for myself, and I'm not letting that slide no more. So yeah, clout, I think not. Okay, I don't even know what number we're on now, but I'm just gonna move on. Another thing that I want to address is he didn't tell his family because I was like some secret or anything. He had met my mom many times. He met my friends, my siblings. I had met his friends, his cousins, and his mom. So secret where? I mentioned in the last video how we were a very private couple. He was a private person. Like, with his individual self, without me in the picture, he was already private. So I feel like that's what it came down to, was it was his privacy, and he wanted to know for sure again if our son was truly his before he started telling people. Because in my city we have a lot of females that will push a baby on a man and it not even be that man's baby. So I feel like that kind of scared him, because that is a thing that happens. And I was not even mad about it. And when we broke up, our breakup was not even toxic. It wasn't anything like that. So he didn't like not tell people because I was like a secret or he wanted to hide me. Like, that was not even the case. And people again are so ignorant for even saying stuff like that. Again, he was just a really private person. Another thing I want to address is that Adriel was 18 years old when he was killed. I know there was some question around that, but if you look up the news articles, or even listen to the news clip that I posted, I believe in there they mentioned his age. He had just graduated from high school before he was killed. So yes, he was 18 years old and I was 17 and pregnant. So I know I've already mentioned this earlier, but I'm just gonna say it again because it was on my list, is that Adriel was shot 8 times. Again, people in the community, friends, and even family have made these rumors and lies saying, oh, he was shot 13 times, oh, he was shot 11 times. And I'm here to lay out the facts. Even if I don't tell you guys the little itty bitty details, if people want those, like friends and family, if people want those little itty bitty details, I would be more than welcome to share that with you guys. But on like a whole video, no, because the whole purpose of this video is just to spread awareness. But I feel like by me spreading awareness, I definitely have to be transparent with you guys and give you some sort of context and some sort of detail, so that you can better understand, you know, Adriels' story. For example, like, it was overkill, and now his case is unsolved and nobody's been arrested, nobody's been questioned. So I definitely want to put those lies and rumors to rest and give you guys like the surface level facts. Another thing that was pointed out by some people was the DNA test and how that all happened. I did show you guys real results, that at first it showed up as 25% when we went to, okay, so it was me, my son, and Adriel's mom. We go to the DNA test lab place that I had found, and they take a sample of my son's blood from his heel. He was an infant still, he was about 5 weeks old. And then they take some blood from Adriel's mom. We wait 3 days and then we get the results, and they said that they couldn't really give us like a yes, they're related, or a no, because it was showing up as 25%. I showed you guys the receipts in the last video. And then the DNA test place, they reached out to me and they were like, can you get a hold of Adriel's father? Keep in mind, these are his biological parents, biological mom, biological dad. For whatever reason, with mom, it was only showing up 25%. So we found dad, my son's grandpa, who is now deceased. He passed away a year after his son. So we found him, Adriel Sr., and we get him tested. Wait 3 days, comes back 99.9999999%. Now, I don't even know really what happened and why it was only showing up 25% with his mom. Some people think or believe that with your biological mom it should show up 100%. It's not how it always works, and my story just proves that. The proof that I showed you guys just proves that. So yeah. Alright, you guys, so that was pretty much everything for today's video. If you have any additional questions or comments or concerns, please do put them in the comment section down below, or feel free to DM me. All of my information will be in the description box below, so please go ahead and check that out. Without further ado, if you guys like this video, please give it a like. Again, please comment, please share Adriel's story, and please don't forget to subscribe to see more of me and my channel. I do motherhood videos, lifestyle hauls, advice, girl talk, all that good stuff. So yes, please subscribe, and don't forget to hit those post notifications so that you are notified every single time that I post. Until next episode.